The glow of Ryan's laptop lit the dark room, casting tired shadows across the walls. He had been clicking aimlessly through forums, half reading threads, half hoping for distraction. Another day had passed without meaning, another evening swallowed by silence. His phone buzzed occasionally, group chats flashing with jokes he no longer understood, invitations he ignored. A pop-up notification blinked on the screen. New message request. He clicked. Her name was Anna. A profile picture of a young woman with long brown hair and soft eyes stared back. Her first line was simple. "Hi. Couldn't sleep either." Ryan smirked, fingers hesitating before typing back. "Yeah, been a long night." That was how it began. Two strangers meeting at the fragile hour between exhaustion and loneliness. Their conversation wandered from music to favorite movies, then deeper into the places where people rarely go. She told him about her love for sketching, how she sometimes drew until her fingers hurt. He admitted he hadn't held on to any hobbies in years. "You should try again," she wrote. "Sometimes creating something helps more than you expect." Her words settled into him, heavier than they should have. Nights blurred into weeks. Ryan's life became structured around those midnight talks. He rushed through dull workdays just to come home, close the blinds, and wait for Anna's icon to turn green. Her laughter over video calls made him forget the bitterness curdling inside him. When she tilted her head, smiling shyly, he felt wanted something rare, something intoxicating, but he kept it secret. At gatherings, when friends asked about dating apps, he shrugged. When his mother called to ask if he was seeing anyone, he lied. No one worth mentioning. The truth felt too fragile to expose to their judgment. One night, Anna's voice softened through the speakers. "Do you ever think about meeting in person?" The question jolted him. He had thought about it endlessly, imagined what her hand might feel like, how her laugh might sound without compression through a microphone. But saying it out loud felt dangerous, like shattering glass. "Yeah," he whispered, leaning toward the screen. "I think about it all the time." Her cheeks flushed, and she tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. Maybe someday soon. After the call ended, Ryan lay awake, staring at the ceiling. The idea clung to him, louder than his doubts. A trip. A chance to prove this wasn't just a digital illusion. He began searching maps, calculating distances, noting bus fares. Each detail tightened his resolve. Yet fear gnawed at him. What if his friends mocked him? What if she wasn't the same in person? He silenced the thoughts with a single promise. "She's real. She makes me feel alive. That's all that matters." The glow of the laptop dimmed as he shut it down, but the fire inside him had only grown. The next night, when Anna smiled through the screen, Ryan already knew he was going to see her. The days felt longer now. Every hour stretched thin, until the moment Ryan could log on and see Anna's name glowing on his screen. Their conversations grew deeper, layered with secrets that neither of them had shared with anyone else. Anna spoke about her small town, about how people treated her like she was fragile. "They think I can't handle life," she said once, voice tinged with frustration. "Like I need to be protected all the time, but I just want someone to see me as me." Ryan listened, leaning forward in the dim light of his room. "I see you," he murmured. "You're stronger than they know." Her silence lingered. Then a soft laugh came. "You always know what to say." It was intoxicating. The belief that he was the only one who could reach her, that bond turned into a lifeline, drawing him further from the rest of the world. Work colleagues joked about his constant distraction, his phone lighting up with unread group messages. He ignored them all. Anna filled the empty spaces. She sent him pictures of her sketches, flowers tangled with vines, portraits of people whose eyes carried longing. He told her they were beautiful, though he couldn't explain why they unsettled him. She called him late at night, her voice low and drowsy, whispering about dreams of the future. "Maybe one day we'll sit together while I draw," she said softly. "You'll laugh at how messy I get with pencils." "I wouldn't laugh," Ryan said, smiling despite himself. "I'd probably just stare at you." She blushed, biting her lip. "Don't say things like that." But she liked when he did. He could tell. The idea of seeing her grew from a fantasy into a need. He began mapping out the drive on his computer, tracing highways, marking rest stops. The distance felt impossible, and yet, what else did he have? His life was a pattern of muted days and sleepless nights. Anna was the only bright thread running through it. Still, he hesitated to share his plan. Fear pressed against him. If his friends found out, they'd laugh. They'd call him pathetic for falling for someone online. And yet when he looked into Anna's eyes through the pixelated screen, none of that mattered. One night, he let the words slip. "What if I came to see you?" Her eyes widened, a mixture of shock and hope flickering across her face. "You'd do that? For me?" "Of course," he said quickly. "I want to. I need to." Anna covered her mouth with her hand, then lowered it slowly, smiling. "I don't even know what I'd say. I've never had anyone choose me like that." Ryan's chest tightened. "Then let me." The call lasted until dawn, both of them too wired to sleep. They planned nothing concrete, yet the promise hung in the air like a vow neither could undo. When the sun broke through his blinds, Ryan stared at the golden light on his walls. The decision was already made. He would go. And in the stillness of that morning, he didn't yet understand that crossing miles would mean crossing a line he could never come back from. The hum of the engine filled Ryan's ears, as mile after mile slipped beneath his tires. He had been driving since dawn, coffee cups littering the passenger seat, his mind circling around the same thought. Soon he would see her. The girl who had been a voice in the night, a face behind glass, would finally be real. He rehearsed what he might say when she opened the door. "You look even better in person. I missed you." I knew this was right. Each line felt clumsy, but he whispered them aloud anyway, gripping the steering wheel tighter as nerves sank deeper. The highways gave way to narrower roads, then quiet streets lined with trees. He recognized landmarks from the photos Anna had sent. An old diner, a painted mural, the bus stop where she used to sketch strangers waiting in the rain. His chest tightened as each marker reminded him. This was no dream. Her house appeared at the end of a cul-de-sac, white siding faded by time, curtains pulled back just slightly. Ryan parked a few spaces away, heart hammering. For a long moment he stayed in the car, staring at the front door. Doubt crept in. What if she wasn't as warm as she seemed? What if everything collapsed the second he stepped out? But then the door opened. Anna stepped onto the porch, her face lighting up instantly. She waved, almost bouncing with excitement, her voice carrying across the quiet street. "Ryan!" He froze, the air punched out of him. Her features were the same as on the screen. Soft hair, open smile, but now he noticed details she had never spoken of. The shape of her eyes, the roundness of her face, the way her movements carried a rhythm he hadn't expected. It struck him all at once, the truth she hadn't told. Anna had Down syndrome. Shock ripped through him, tangling with confusion, shame, and anger. She was still smiling, still rushing toward him, arms ready to wrap around his shoulders. He forced a smile, stepping out of the car. His hands trembled as she hugged him, her warmth pressing into him with pure trust. "I can't believe you're really here," she said, eyes wide with wonder. "Yeah," he managed, his voice cracked but steady enough. "I made it." She led him inside, chattering nervously about the sketches on her wall, the snacks she'd prepared, the music she thought he'd like. He nodded, pretending to listen, every word echoing in a hollow chamber inside his chest. Each second stretched tighter, the gap between expectation and reality cutting like a blade. He remembered the endless nights of longing, the way he thought she'd complete him. But now, sitting on her couch, watching her beam at him, all he felt was trapped. Anna leaned closer, her voice gentle. "I'm so glad you came for me." Ryan's stomach churned. His forced smile deepened, hiding the storm already building beneath. And somewhere inside him, something dark began to shift. The living room smelled faintly of lavender and pencil shavings, the kind of scent that clung to paper and fabric when someone sketched for hours. Anna's drawings lined the walls, flowers bursting through stone, faces filled with longing, stars scattered across dark skies. She moved from one frame to another, showing him with eager pride. Ryan nodded. His smile stretched too tight. "There, Good. Really good. She laughed softly. You don't have to be polite, but I'm glad you like them. He sat stiff on the couch, hands pressed against his knees. Her joy filled the small space, yet it pressed down on him like a weight. She wasn't what he imagined, not the version he had built in his head during those endless nights. He remembered whispering promises to her through the screen, imagining someone who would silence the emptiness inside him. Now all he felt was noise, confusion, embarrassment, a creeping sense of betrayal. Anna returned with 2 glasses of soda, her hands trembling slightly as she offered his. I wanted to make this special. Thanks, he muttered, staring into the fizz. Silence stretched. She filled it quickly, her voice soft but steady. I still can't believe you're here. I told my sister about you, but she didn't think you'd actually come. She said guys like you don't stick around. Ryan's jaw tightened. Guys like me. The word stung, as if she were echoing something he already feared, that this wasn't right, that people would laugh if they knew. Anna leaned closer, eyes shining. But you proved her wrong. You came for me. That means something, doesn't it? He forced a nod, throat dry. Yeah, it does. Her hand brushed his, tentative and warm. His chest tightened. He should have felt comfort, but instead shame clawed at him. He pulled his hand back quickly, pretending to adjust the glass. She noticed, though her smile didn't fade. You're just tired from the trip, she said gently. We'll take it slow. The kindness in her voice cut deeper than cruelty ever could. He excused himself, stepping outside under the dim porch light. The air was damp, heavy with the smell of rain on pavement. He paced, his mind unraveling. How could he tell her that everything felt wrong? That the girl who had been his salvation online now felt like a trap he'd walked into willingly. Through the window, he saw her adjusting the cushions, carefully setting the table with snacks she had probably saved for weeks. She moved with a nervous excitement, as though every detail mattered. She wanted this moment to be perfect. Ryan gripped the railing until his knuckles whitened. He wanted to leave, to run back to his car, to erase the miles he had traveled. But the memory of her voice on the phone, soft, vulnerable, filled with trust, echoed inside him. Leaving now would mean shattering her. Staying meant suffocating. When he stepped back inside, Anna looked up instantly, relief washing over her face. There you are, she said, smiling, as though his absence had been a test he passed by returning. He forced a chuckle. Yeah, just needed some air. Her hand brushed his arm again, light as a feather. I'm glad you're here, Ryan. And though he nodded, something inside him twisted darker, the mask of patience beginning to crack. The night air clung damp and heavy, as Anna suggested a walk. She laced her sneakers quickly, her excitement radiating in every gesture. Ryan followed reluctantly, his hands shoved deep into his pockets, eyes fixed on the ground. They moved through quiet streets, lined with darkened houses. Porch lights glowed dimly, moths fluttering against bulbs. Anna pointed out spots from her childhood, the school playground, the old oak tree, where she once carved her initials. Her voice carried a sweetness that scraped against Ryan's raw nerves. You know, she said softly, I used to sit out here and wish someone would come into my life. Someone who really saw me. And then, you did. Ryan stopped walking. Her words hit him like a blade. She looked at him expectantly, eyes full of hope. The pressure inside him built, twisting his chest. He forced a laugh, sharp and cold. You don't even know me. Anna blinked, her smile faltering. I know enough. You've been here for me. You've listened. That was easy online, he muttered, voice thick with resentment. This is different. Her brow furrowed, confusion flickering. Different how? Ryan's hands clenched. The silence of the street pressed around them, amplifying the storm inside him. You should have told me, he snapped. You should have been honest about everything. Her eyes widened, hurt flashing across her face. I thought you knew. I didn't hide. You didn't say it, his voice cracked. Louder now, echoing off the empty houses. You let me believe something else. You made me think. He cut himself short, rage choking the rest. Anna stepped closer, reaching for his arm. Ryan, please, I never wanted to trick you. I just wanted... He pulled away violently, his chest heaving. I came all this way, and for what? To feel like an idiot? Tears welled in her eyes, spilling down her cheeks. I just wanted you to see me. Not what people always see first. The sight of her crying twisted something deep inside him, but instead of softening, it hardened. He turned away, dragging his hands through his hair, pacing. Shame gnawed at him, shame for her, shame for himself, shame for caring at all. Anna's voice broke the silence, trembling. You don't have to stay. If it's too much, you can go. Her words should have freed him. Instead, they locked him in deeper, reminding him of the distance he had traveled, the secrets he had carried, the promises he had whispered in the dark. He couldn't just leave, not now, not after everything. He faced her again, his expression unreadable. Don't tell me what I can or can't do. The path stretched ahead, empty and cold. Anna stood there, shoulders shaking, wiping her tears with the back of her hand. Ryan stared at her, his fury simmering into something darker, something that promised this night was far from over. The street lamps flickered as they walked back toward Anna's house, their silence thick, heavier than the night itself. Ryan's steps were sharp and uneven, while Anna trailed beside him, her head bowed, hands twisting at her sleeves. Inside, she set her shoes neatly by the door, her voice barely audible. Maybe tomorrow will be better. We can start again. Ryan stood frozen in the entryway, his chest heaving. Tomorrow. The word scraped across his mind like a taunt. How could there be a tomorrow when every second beside her made him feel smaller, weaker, trapped? She turned, her eyes searching his. Ryan, I'm glad you came. Even if you're angry. I'm still glad. Something broke. His hand shot out, gripping her wrist too tightly. She gasped, stumbling back, confusion flashing in her face. You're hurting me. Do you have any idea, he hissed, what you've done to me? Her lips parted, trembling. I didn't mean. You lied, he cut her off, voice rising. You let me believe something that wasn't true. You let me care for you. Tears welled in her eyes again, her free hand pressing against his chest, as if to push him back. Ryan, please. I never wanted to hurt you. I just wanted to be loved. Her words seared him. Loved. The one thing he had craved, the one thing that now felt poisoned. His grip tightened. Anna whimpered, pulling against him. Stop, please. The storm inside him exploded. He shoved her hard, sending her crashing into the coffee table. Glass rattled, a bowl of snacks shattering on the floor. She cried out, scrambling to sit up, but Ryan loomed over her, his shadow swallowing her slight frame. You made me believe you were the answer, he snarled. And now look at me. Look at what you've turned me into. Her voice broke, fragile as a whisper. I still believe in you. You don't have to. The words only fueled him further. He lunged, striking her with a rage that had nothing to do with her and everything to do with himself. His shame, his loneliness, his hunger for control, every piece of him that had rotted spilled out in violence. The room filled with chaos, the crash of furniture, the muffled sobs, the sharp gasps cut short. Anna's pleas blurred into silence, her body collapsing beneath the weight of his fury. And then it was over. Ryan stood in the wreckage, chest heaving, sweat dripping down his temple. Anna lay motionless on the floor, her sketches scattered around her like fallen leaves. A pencil rolled slowly to a stop against his shoe. He stared at her, the reality sinking like lead into his veins. The girl who once lit his nights with laughter, who whispered dreams into the dark, was gone because of him. For the first time in months, there was silence, no notifications, no laughter through a screen, no promises of love, just silence, and the sound of his own ragged breathing. Ryan sank to his knees, his hands trembling above what he had done, knowing there was no tomorrow, no undoing, no escape. The room was still, broken only by the faint hum of the refrigerator. Ryan sat on the floor, his back against the wall, staring at the shape lying in front of him. Anna's face was tilted toward the ceiling, eyes half closed, lips parted as though she might still whisper something gentle. But there was nothing. Her phone buzzed on the coffee table, screen flashing with new messages. Anna, are you okay? Another one followed seconds later. Call me back. We're worried. The glow of those words lit the darkness, reminders of the world beyond these walls, the family who loved her, the people who would come looking. Ryan pressed his palms against his eyes, rocking forward. The rage that had consumed him was gone, leaving only a hollow ache. He tried to tell himself it hadn't happened, that he hadn't crossed that final line, but the silence screamed louder than any denial. Through the window, red and blue lights flickered in the distance. Neighbors must have heard the crash, the shouting. Sirens grew closer, winding through the quiet streets like a slow inevitability. Ryan rose unsteadily, pacing the wrecked room. Anna's drawings were crushed beneath his steps, faces smeared, flowers torn, stars erased, each sketch a piece of her, now ruined like everything else. He sank back to his knees, his breath shuddering. I just wanted to be seen," he whispered, his voice breaking in the empty room. The sirens swelled, tires screeching against pavement outside. A door slammed, voices barked orders he couldn't process. He remained still, trembling, his eyes fixed on the lifeless girl who had once been his salvation. The knock on the door shook the house. Then another, louder, followed by the crack of it splintering open. Ryan didn't move. The world crashed in around him, flashing lights, heavy boots, hands pulling him up. He didn't resist. There was nothing left to resist for. And in that final moment, as the echo of sirens filled the night, Ryan understood that justice would come. But justice could never bring back the girl who believed in him until the very end.